In a recent video that I posted, I made this illuminated letter V in order to give to somebody for their birthday, and I still need to make the envelope for this letter to go into. So I thought I would just make a quick video showing you how I'm going to make a very beautiful name-only envelope for my recipient. So I always start off with a parallel glider, which I don't have in stock right now, and I apologize about that because these things are absolutely wonderful. So I'm going to make the baseline here, and I'm just eyeballing how big I want to make these guidelines. Probably pretty big since this is a large envelope. So here's my middle guideline, and then I'm going to make this guideline a little higher. And then you always mark the middle. Okay, so this is 9 inches long, which means 4.5 is going to be my middle point. And then, just to be extra fancy, I'm going to include slant lines. So 55 degrees is what I want. I'm just lining up this 4 with the 55-degree angle line. And then that's where this parallel glider comes in super handy. The thing with these is they're made in Poland. And obviously that part of the world isn't having a great time right now. So it's difficult to source these. All right, so now since this is only one name, I always like to make a pencil draft instead of just jumping into it with calligraphy. So that way I can really plan out my flourishes. So the name is Valicia. Let's see how many letters that has. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's nice because I know that the I needs to be right smack dab in the middle or really close to the middle. So this is just something that you learn with practice, and even then you don't get it right all of the time. Where to start? I'm going to start, I guess, right here. And just make kind of a fabulously flourished V, paying attention to these slant lines. We'll see how that flourish checks out. Maybe it won't be great, maybe it will, but let's get the rest of the letters drawn. Okay, so A. Not sure how I feel about this V intersecting the A, but that's something to decide once I have everything all drawn. And then I'm going to pick up the pencil and make my L here. Okay, so the I is almost at the middle. We'll see if that ends up looking good or not. Things might be a little bit too far to the left, but I might be compensating for that with this flourish here. Doesn't have to be perfect because if we wanted perfection, we would use a computer. Okay. This looks pretty good. I think I could actually do better on this flourish down here. So let's just erase that. This is why it's always good to play around with flourishes with pencil first. There are some calligraphers like Shinlun that can just flourish up a storm without any drafts. I'm not one of them. Love to have me some drafts. Probably not. That's a little bit too... I think that we need maybe some length over here. So since we're pulling over so much to the right, it might be a good idea to pull over to the left. Forgive me as I pull you through my thought process here on this. Okay, so how do I want to do this? I guess that's closer, but not quite. This is a handmade envelope, by the way, from Indian Cotton Paper Company. Okay, I think I want to go maybe... And then... I'm trying to think. It looks like there might be some negative space here. So you know what I'm going to do is... perhaps write 2. All right. Not sure. Okay, first we need to dot this, but I think it might actually be better to make my L like this, not have the little eyelash shape here. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, okay. I think that this is good enough to ink over. So let's see here. I have some iron gall ink here. Okay, and I am using a Browse Extra Fine 66 nib in an oblique pen. It is always a good idea to warm up before making calligraphy. So I'm just going to make some strokes to make sure that my hand is nice and smooth. Everything's working well. Okay, I think that I'm feeling good. It's always a warm-up when you're doing this draft anyway, because you know you're moving your hand. You just never want to go into this totally cold, or else the flourishing isn't going to look fluid. Now, do I even have ink flow here? This handmade cotton paper is fabulous, but it can be a little bit finicky, which is why you need to take it extra slow. Okay. It really absorbs the ink quickly too. Oh, come on. Very good. And I noticed that in order to not have my nib catch on the paper, I'm holding the oblique pen at a less drastic angle than I would normally on like really smooth paper, because I don't want it to catch. All right, just working my way up here. I'm not going to do this entire flourish. No, I think I will actually. So my decision there was based on keeping my hand out of the way. I was trying to decide if doing this whole flourish would compromise my hand position such that my hand would get in that flourish as I'm working on these letters, and actually I don't think so. So these are the types of decisions that have to be made as you're working through your flourishes. Okay. Let's just keep on going here. I'm going to go ahead and speed the video up, and then we will reconvene in order to reinforce some strokes. Okay, let's let that dry for just a bit. I gave my ink about 5 minutes to dry, which here in Colorado is more than sufficient. So now it is time to erase everything. So I'll speed the video up while I do that, and then we will reconvene. Okay, at this point, it's just about figuring out if all of the strokes look good. Do you need to go over anything again? The only thing that I'm seeing is I was a little bit timid on the downstroke of that V. So I think that we can definitely use a little bit more ink there. So I'm just going to reinforce that stroke here on this side. Give it a little more strength so it matches the width of subsequent downstrokes. Yeah, I think everything else looks good. So yeah, that's it. I just wanted to show you how I did this name on the envelope. And once this dries, I'll just slip this in and give it to the birthday girl.